This is Corey Mack with Max Show MMA. I'm back again with another video. UFC 329, Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway 2. I want to give my prediction on that. Obviously, that's the fight I want to focus on a little bit, but I'm going to give a full main card prediction, and I want to do one prelim fight with the Robert Whittaker versus Nikita Krylov. So starting off with the Whittaker versus Krylov, that fight I lean towards Whittaker just a little bit because skill-wise, he's much better than Krylov. Now, Robert Whittaker is on a losing streak, and he's going from 185 all the way to 205. That's a 20-pound weight difference. Krylov is coming off a victory versus Bukowskis. That was a great victory that he got, not too long ago. So he's fighting Robert Whittaker now, who's more skilled, who got more tools in the toolbox. So I'm going to lean towards Whittaker. I want to say Whittaker get it done by decision. I can see maybe a third round finish, but I'm going to say Whittaker just outskills him. I don't know if he's going to outmuscle him or anything like that, but I think Whittaker's skill is good enough to beat Krylov despite a 20-pound weight advantage, possibly even more for Krylov. So let's start off with the main card of UFC 329. Let's go King Green versus Terrence McKinney. This could be a banger or this could be a quick night. I'm going for the latter. I think it's going to be a quick fucking night. I think Terrence McKinney going to get King Green the fuck out of there early. I think King Green is going to be willing to exchange, and I think he's going to get him out of there. So if I had to guess, to be honest with you, I want to say Terrence McKinney by knockout. I want to say like midway through the first round. I think King Green ain't going to be able to, he's not going to be able to not want to exchange. He's going to exchange at some point. I think he's going to get caught. I think Terrence McKinney get him out of there. And I think if Terrence McKinney don't get him out of there, if McKinney don't get him out of there, I think King Green has a great chance to turn the tables and possibly, win by finish of his own. But I just see Terrence McKinney being a younger fighter. He's the fresher fighter. King Green been knocked out and finished, a few times throughout his last fights. So I'm going to go with Terrence McKinney doing the same thing. Moving up, you got Brandon Royval versus Loner Kavanaugh. Loner Kavanaugh, young, springy, athletic. Brandon Royval is on a losing streak. He put up a really good fight against Joshua Van not too long ago. That was super, super close until Van finished him, or not finished him, but, just got the better of him like towards the end. I think this is closer of a fight than people may give it credit for, but I think Loner Kavanaugh gonna win. I can see it finish, but I'm gonna say by decision. I think, Brandon Royval, his best years is behind him, while you got Loner Kavanaugh. He just started pushing up the ranks and getting better. Moving on, you got Corey Sandhagen versus Mario Batista. This fight is a banger. I can see this fight going a couple of different ways. I can see Mario Batista putting pressure on Sandhagen and just making him like mentally fatigued and, and just kind of getting the better of him in his, like in his striking exchanges. Cause I do feel like he has more power for sure than Corey Sandhagen. With that being said, Corey Sandhagen is way more skillful, way more tools in the toolbox. He is way more dynamic. He may not have the power that Mario Batista got. That's the only edge that I see Batista with. I think, Sandhagen has better grappling. He has better jiu-jitsu. He's better at outside range. I think Sandhagen could win this fight in multiple different ways. So, and he has more tools in the toolbox. So I'm going to go with Corey Sandhagen. I don't think he finishes Mario Batista. Mario Batista is tough as fuck. He always game. I think if Sandhagen finish him, it'll probably be by submission. But I don't think that's going to happen either. I'm going to say Corey Sandhagen wins a pretty decisive. I'm going to say Corey Sandhagen wins a pretty decisive decision over Mario Batista. Moving on, you got the co-main event between Benoit Saint Denis and Paddy Pimblett. This is a fire. This is a banger. This is a true 50-50 fight in my opinion. Paddy Pimblett is the underdog, going into this fight with Benoit Saint Denis. That's fair. But if you want to take into account, yes, Paddy lost to Justin Gaethje, but Justin Gaethje went to just go take the belt off of Ilya in a stoppage. So, I know MMA math don't always work, but I think we can give Paddy a little bit more credit, than what we gave him, for losing the way he did. Obviously, when he ain't getting brownie points or whatever, you know what I mean? But at the same time, the way he lost versus the way Ilya lost, two different things. Paddy Pimblett is tough. He has proven to have a fucking chin. With this matchup, I like Saint Denis a lot. But one thing I notice about Saint Denis in his fights, his striking is very fucking shaky. He's very timid on the feet at times. He's very jittery. He has great body kicks. He do some things well on the feet, but he's very susceptible to getting knocked the fuck out on the feet, as you've seen with the Dustin Poirier fight. And obviously he did have staff. But again, like I said, when I watch his stand-up, he's very vulnerable on the feet. Paddy doesn't have the best striking, but he's more dynamic on the feet than Benoit Saint Denis, I feel like. Now, does he have the power that Benoit Saint Denis have? No, but I think he's more dynamic. I think, he can throw knees, elbows, his striking is very unorthodox, but he can catch you with some shit. He's hurting guys before. When it comes to the grappling and jiu-jitsu, I think Saint Denis obviously has better wrestling, but jiu-jitsu wise, it's for sure going to be Patty. He's going to be a threat on the ground, and that's where BSD like to take it. And I think I'm going to go with Patty Pimblett here. I'm not going to say by finish, even though I could see like a grappling exchange and Patty Pimblett, locking up a rear naked choke or something like that, possibly even a guillotine. But Saint Denis is tough. He's tough to finish. And, I think he probably has a better chance of getting knocked out than submitted probably. I'm going to say Patty Pimblett by decision. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think they both going to have their moments. But I think Patty Pimblett is going to get the job done. I have Patty Pimblett by decision. Moving on to the main event, Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway 2. I was listening to an interview by Conor, and I want to play it for you guys real quick. It was an interview by Conor he was doing with Chael Sonnen and another guy. I forget his name. And he spoke on the Max Holloway drowning him thing. And I want to play this clip for you guys so you guys can hear what he had to say on that. Go ahead and take a listen.
I'm happy with the 5 rounds. We are human. It is normal to get tired. It is fine. I can fight under fatigue. No problem. For Max to say he's going to drown me in waters, I find somewhat disrespectful. I'm not sure who he thinks he's talking to here. To get me to that stage, to get me to a stage of that, he will have been concussed multiple times. He will have been damaged majorly. So bring it on. I'm ready.
That gave me chills, man. That gave me chills because, a lot of people is worried about Conor gas tank. And obviously Conor know that shit too. But the thing is, I'm not as down on his gas tank like most people are probably. I'm more so down on the fact, of the out of the octagon stuff. The personal issues he's been going through. He's been out of the octagon since 2021. That's 5 fucking years he haven't fought. How are you going to look after a hard fought round 1, a round 2? How are you going to look? So that's more so my concern than anything. I think his gas tank shit is way overblown. Nobody questioned his gas tank until he fought Nate Diaz. He went into that fight overconfident, loaded up on every shot, and it wasn't even just his gas tank the reason why he lost. Yeah, that was part of it, but he got caught with a good-ass shot, a sneaky-ass shot. The same shot that Leon Edwards got caught with in his 5-round bout with Nate Diaz, and he was almost finished. But, Conor McGregor came back that second fight and went 5 rounds with Nate Diaz, which nobody would have ever suspected he could do. Nobody. Leon Edwards went 5 rounds with Nate Diaz, and we seen how he looked. He almost got finished. He was in way more trouble with Nate Diaz going 5 rounds than when Conor was the second time he went the full 5 rounds with Nate Diaz. So, like I said, I think the gas tank shit is way overblown a little bit. I think he has done as much as he can to address those issues. And I think he's going to be prepared to go 5 rounds if need be. I can see this fight going a multitude of different ways. You got Max Holloway. He coming off a bad loss against Charles Oliveira. Just got out-grappled. He just got out-grappled, out-muscled. That shit kind of looked like the Conor McGregor, one fight when he fought him the first time 13 years ago. I mean, that's exactly how he got manhandled. Like, he just got manhandled. I didn't foresee that coming. I thought Max Holloway was going to show much more resistance, but he kind of accepted defeat, bro, a little bit. Like, he just knew his grappling was not up to par. And Charles Oliveira's not even a wrestler. He's more of a grappler. So to see you get ragged out by a grappler, not even necessarily a wrestler, that was kind of demoralizing. You know what I mean? Conor McGregor is, he going into this fight much stronger, than Max Holloway. I don't think Max Holloway that strong. I don't think Max Holloway necessarily that easy to hold down. But if you're stronger than him, which Oliveira definitely is, and he's much bigger than Max Holloway, Conor McGregor is bigger than Max Holloway. I think Max could be controlled at some point during this fight, like in the clinches. And who knows, it may go to the ground. I don't think it's going to go to the ground much, but I think it can possibly, you know what I mean, if it go past the second round. This is my thing. This fight can go a multitude of different ways. I think if Max Holloway win this fight against Conor McGregor, it's going to be by knockout. It's going to be by finish, and it's going to be within that 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I think that's the only way Max Holloway wins this fight. Max Holloway won't win a decision against Conor McGregor. The reason why I say that is because I love Conor McGregor. I was a big fan during his rise, during his run, at the top. Conor McGregor, if his gas tank is not holding up the way it should or the way he wants it to or his fans want it to, Conor McGregor is not going to take a beating. He's not going to take a barrage from Max Holloway from rounds 3, 4, and 5. That's not going to happen. At some point, Max is going to finish him. If this go to decision, that lets me know Conor McGregor has taken some rounds. If this go to decision, that lets me know Conor McGregor was able to piece Max up multiple times at some point, during this fight. Conor ain't going rounds just taking a beating. It's just not going to happen, especially, over 5 years, 5 years out of the octagon. It's just not going to happen. So if Max Holloway win this fight, it's going to be by KO or TKO. That's the only way I see Max winning this fight. If it goes to decision, Conor McGregor is more skilled than Max Holloway. He has more tools in the toolbox. He can implement the grappling. He can implement the wrestling. I think his striking is, obviously, not even, weighing the fact of, gas tank or anything like that. I think Conor McGregor is more skilled in the striking. Like I said, he has more power than Max Holloway. So I think if Conor win this fight, he could very well win, by decision, by piecing Max up. He can also I can also see him knocking Max out within the first 2 rounds. I can see this fight going multiple different ways for Conor winning, but I think it's only one way for Max to win, like I said, and that's by knockout. Max Holloway, I look at some of his losses, the Vogue 3, that was a bad loss. A lot of people was calling Max Holloway washed after that loss. The way he lost against Oliveira, the way he lost against Ilya, even though he was doing well, but he succumbed to the power of Ilya in the 3rd round. Max Holloway, there's a blueprint there to beat Max Holloway. The thing is with Conor, I think Conor should approach this like the Nate Diaz 2 fight. I don't want Conor making that same mistake he did with Dustin Poirier. Don't think just because you beat this guy years ago that you can just beat him the same way now. And I think that was his mistake in the Dustin 2 fight. I think he went in there looking at him like, oh, this is the same old P-head Dustin. You can't look at Max Holloway as that same Max Holloway you beat up 13 years ago. Look at him as the same guy to have that mental advantage, but look at him as a better version. So that that this could possibly be a fight of your life, and you could possibly go 5 rounds, even though you have the mental edge because you beat this dude before. I think Conor needs to come in with no wasted movement, come in very, very patient, but precise. Pick his shots. Kick the lead leg of Max Holloway because he got a heavy boxing stance. See how he farewells with those leg kicks. Be dynamic with the body kicks. Obviously, that straight left down the pipe, that's his biggest weapon. That's going to be there. And if Max Holloway survives the first 2 rounds, the first round and a half, you won't be so winded. Conor McGregor has to come in calculated. I don't want him going balls to the wall and just coming straight forward. No, come in very patient. Take a page out of Volkanovski's book, when he fought Max Holloway the 3rd time. Use angles. Use great footwork. Like I said, touch him up whenever you get the chance to, because, again, openings is going to be there. Max Holloway gets hit, and he can hit a lot. The openings will be there. So if Conor, approach this like the Nate Diaz 2, kick at the lead leg, pick your shots. That left hand down the pipe is going to be there. I think he could very well get Max Holloway out of there within the first 2 rounds. But if he does not, Conor McGregor has the skill set to get another round off of Max Holloway. Because, again, I think he's more skilled. And if this go to decision, I got Conor winning. I feel like this fight has a pretty good chance of going to decision. It does. But it's going to all depend on Conor McGregor gas tank. I think he has done as much as he can to address those issues. I think Conor McGregor will go into this fight patient with the idea in the back of his mind that this could possibly go 5 rounds, but also still trying to get Max out of there the best way he can without, overloading on his shots, within the first 2 rounds. Listen, I've been going kind of back and forth with this. I'm going to say Conor McGregor get Max Holloway out of there. Late 1st round, early 2nd round. I think he put Max away. I think that chin been cracked of Max Holloway enough. We seen him get knocked out for the first time by Ilya like 2-3 fights ago. Max got dropped in the Dustin fight when he beat Dustin, for Dustin retirement fight. Max is there to be hit. He get hit a lot. Conor McGregor don't get hit a lot within the first 2 rounds. It's only when he start to slow down a little bit where he starts, to get touched up a little bit. So if it gets to that point, then obviously, we'll visit that scenario. Obviously we'll see how that works out when it get there. But I just believe, Conor going to come out sharp like he always does. He's going to have the power. And I say late 1st round, early 2nd round, he puts Max Holloway away. One thing I will say, the only thing I'm worried about, let's say Conor McGregor gas tank, don't hold up. By the end of the 2nd round, 3rd round, if Conor McGregor is tired to where, his hands is low and, he's tired to the point where he's only throwing that, that pull back single left hand down the pipe shot and you ain't got to worry about nothing else coming back after it. Max Holloway probably gonna finish him. If it gets to that point where he's no longer intelligently defending and his hands is down and he's just trying to do a counter straight left and that's all he got left in the tank, that's the only thing he got left in order for him to throw because he's so tired and he's so gassed, Max Holloway is gonna get him out of there. He's gonna get him out of there third, fourth round. But I don't believe that's gonna happen. I believe Conor is prepared. Again, if it ain't a late first round, early second round finish, I can very well see Conor McGregor winning a decision. So that is my prediction. Conor McGregor by TKO, KO against Max Holloway, by the second round. So again, super looking forward to it. Let's see how Conor McGregor look. The Mac is fucking back. Let's go. Obviously, I'll be back, with post, fight reactions and all that shit. So definitely stay tuned, y'all. If y'all like this video, like any more other videos, please subscribe. I do this for y'all. Comment as well, y'all. Just let me know y'all predictions and what y'all think, what's going to happen as well. This is Corey Mack with Max Show MMA. I'm talking to y'all again real soon. Peace.